Welcome to step 2 of the perfect prescription. Treat your teeth like your muscles. Now this may sound strange, but when you look at any of your muscles during the day, think of your teeth. Here are the facts. Enamel is a flexible polymer of basically calcium phosphate. Your teeth are living and building and being torn down daily, just like your muscles. This means you must help them build every day so they will stay strong for the rest of your life. Very similar to how you must get enough protein every day so your muscles will stay strong and flexible, you need to feed your teeth the right nutrients daily to keep them strong and flexible. And again, this is not something you do once in a while. You must provide the proper nutrients to your teeth every day in order to keep them for life. Dr. Judd states, "It is clear from medical studies that bones undergo a transformation daily when there is not enough calcium and phosphate. The hairline crack formation throughout the bones due to that absence is called osteoporosis. Clearly, the calcium and phosphate in the tooth is constantly migrating in and out of the tooth and going to the bones and heart, the DNA and RNA, and wherever it is needed to replace that which is lost from the body. A supply can also migrate back to the tooth. It is vital that you give your teeth what they need daily to keep them strong and flexible." Dr. Judd suggests taking supplements to assure that you get what you need. He thinks trying to gauge carbs, protein, fats, fruits, etc., to make sure you are getting all the proper nutrients is a foolhardy approach. He states, "No one has ever died from taking an overload of vitamins, whereas many have died because of shortages. Each person has a different enzyme load, and taking a 6-cent vitamin pill may cover a higher requirement one needs in some area." Dr. Judd suggests taking vitamin mineral supplements you can find in any drugstore. I do want to point out that what type of supplement you take makes a huge difference. What is most important is how much you actually absorb of the supplement. For example, you need vitamin D and magnesium to absorb calcium, but you also need enzymes to fully assimilate nutrients. With calcium, if you're not absorbing, there could be a buildup of calcium in the joints. 𝚂𝚎𝚜𝚅, in her book, Food Enzymes, is convinced that enzyme supplements are the answer to proper absorption of calcium from foods. But you can also get those enzymes by eating foods in their raw state, and this is covered in step 3. I highly suggest you do not buy cheap supplements. Getting them on sale is great, but don't buy the cheapest you can find because they will most likely be synthetic and not provide you with what you need. They may even cause problems. You can find mainstream sources that say synthetic and natural vitamin sources are the same. I've found pharmaceutical companies stating there was no difference, but that is not always the case. Dr. Alan Spreen, MD, says that synthetic vitamin C ascorbic acid is the identical molecule to what's naturally made in nature, only differing in its lack of accompanying phytonutrients. Synthetic vitamin E, on the other hand, is not the same as its natural counterpart. Chemically, it is d-alpha-tocopherol, a mixture of D forms and L forms. The significant difference being that the little L in the beginning. This is a molecule shape that the body does not designed to handle, whereas the D form alone is the one the body is able to use. Another example is a scientific study done on the benefits of beta-carotene. Since other studies showed that a diet high in fruits and vegetables meant one was at lower risk of cancer and heart disease, beta-carotene was singled out as the protective nutrient, and synthetic beta-carotene was used in the study. The study found no benefit for synthetic beta-carotene. In fact, the women who took the synthetic beta-carotene had more cancer than the ones that took placebos. The best vitamin mineral supplement will always be one that is derived from whole foods and other natural sources. Your body was meant to absorb nutrients through foods, so it is best to take supplements that come from whole food sources. Here are 4 daily supplements recommended by Dr. Judd for strong teeth throughout life. Please note, the following recommendations are for entertainment purposes only. I do not prescribe or diagnose. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on YouTube. The indicated amounts are for a 165-pound person daily. You will want to adjust this according to weight. Supplement number 1. Take 1,000 milligrams calcium and vitamin D daily. The calcium must have vitamin D. You want to supplement that with milk, cheese, nuts, and eggs. Dr. Judd says, unless one furnishes extra calcium daily in their diet, that person will be sacrificing his or her teeth. Dietary calcium is absolutely necessary for good teeth. Calcium helps fluorosis and mottling in the teeth. Dr. Judd states, the advice to counter most of the nasty effect of fluorosis and mottling in the teeth is to take 1,000 milligrams of calcium and D and 1 tablespoon of powdered lecithin daily. Make sure your calcium supplement contains magnesium too. Some experts believe magnesium is by far the most important mineral in the body because it activates over 300 different biochemical reactions, all necessary for proper bodily functions. Magnesium regulates calcium, potassium, and sodium. Simply put, calcium needs magnesium in order to assimilate into the body. However, when too much calcium is consumed and not enough magnesium is present, the body will pull magnesium out of the body parts in order to assimilate. This will create a magnesium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency is very common even amongst those who supplement regularly. The fact that so many people suffer from low thyroid function is not surprising. Magnesium deficiency is common. According to Dr. Raymond Peat, we can increase our consumption of magnesium and cause cells to absorb and retain the magnesium. We can increase our thyroid function. Good thyroid function causes the body to retain more magnesium, and when magnesium levels are adequate, a number of potential problems can be avoided. Symptoms of magnesium deficiency include insomnia and other sleep disorders, heart disorders, high blood pressure, PMS, cravings for chocolate, backaches, constipation, kidney stones, accelerated aging, depression, irregular heartbeat, anxiety, irritability, risk of type 2 diabetes, and more. Again, make sure your calcium supplement contains magnesium. A 2-to-1 ratio is good, and if you happen to be magnesium deficient, address it right away. Here's a note about magnesium supplements. Magnesium oxide is the cheapest form you can get, and it's also the poorest form, even though it is listed in the physician's desk reference. Your body does not absorb as much from the oxide because it contains very little elemental magnesium. So try and find magnesium citrate, magnesium gluconate, or chelated magnesium. Be forewarned though, if you take too much magnesium, you will get diarrhea, so only take the amount that your body needs. News about vitamin K: you need this vitamin to absorb calcium, so make sure you are getting some daily. Vitamin K helps the body produce osteocalcin, a protein essential to the formation of new bone, and anything that is vital for your bones is vital for your teeth as well. Vitamin K can also be found in dark green leafy vegetables and olive oil, so if you are not getting enough of those 2 foods, you need to supplement with a good vitamin K. Supplement number 2. Take 1/6 of a teaspoon, this is 1 gram, of monosodium phosphate in 1 inch of water. Remember that 1 gram is for a person who weighs 165 pounds. Simply dissolve the monosodium phosphate in 1 inch of water in less than a minute. Then fill the glass with water and drink it. When figuring how much monosodium phosphate to take, to estimate that each 1/4 gram of phosphate is for about 40 pounds of body weight. So I'm reading from my book here, and I used to take this. At that time, I was taking a bit less than 3/4 of a gram, and my 5-year-old was taking 1/4 of a gram. So you want to supplement the monosodium phosphate with root crops. Other foods high in phosphate: per 100 grams of food are lecithin. It has 0.24 grams of phosphate. Cheese has 0.68 grams of phosphate. Egg yolk has 0.524. Dried beans, 0.47. Almonds, 0.465 grams. Wheat, 0.423 grams. Soybean powder, cottonseed meal, and linseed meal are also high in phosphate, but I don't recommend eating those foods because they are very thyroid suppressive. You can read all the details about how bad seed oils are for the thyroid in Dr. Pete's book, From PMS to Menopause, Female Hormones in Context. I highly recommend that book. It's excellent. Monosodium phosphate has a slightly salty taste when diluted as above. I have not had a problem at all with taking it every day on an empty stomach, and I do take it separately from my other supplements as Dr. Judd suggests. Is MSP safe to take? I asked Dr. Judd about the safety and need for monosodium phosphate, and here was his reply. With regard to your question as to the need for monosodium phosphate in the diet, the following information is offered. 1. 1/8 of a teaspoon daily is calculated both from humans and animals' needs. This is the amount a horse is fed daily. The basis is 170 pounds of the horse's weight. This has resulted in no side effects in the horses. 2. Osteoporosis is rampant in America, indicating that the components of the bones are not present in the diet. This includes phosphate. 3. A large number of connective tissue ailments such as tennis elbow, arthritis around and between vertebrae, and joints are rampant in the population, especially among the elderly. I lay this mostly to a shortage of phosphate. 4. Thin tooth enamel is rebuilt by proper nutrition applied to clean teeth. The sad status of American teeth is undoubtedly highly related to lack of phosphate as well as calcium. I would take monosodium phosphate in the absence of magnesium, calcium, or other nutrients which would reduce its solubility. Dr. Judd also told me the following. You might be interested to know that DNA and RNA contain phosphate, and this phosphate is necessary in building all of our connective tissue, and therefore, the animal husbandry people feed it big time to their cattle and horses. Medics and alternative health people in the stores and elsewhere have no idea about this, and it's about time for a change. Dr. Judd mentions that phosphate regulates body pH as well. His research also points out the danger of not having enough phosphate present in bodily fluids, so it can crowd out alien ions such as fluoride, chloride, carbonate, sulfate, and sulfide. Supplement number 3. Take 4 milligrams of vitamin C daily. The best way to take vitamin C is with baking soda. Mix 1 teaspoon of powdered vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and a half a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. Add 1 inch of water. Allow the carbon dioxide gas to escape. Then dilute to 4 to 8 ounces with water and drink it. The resulting sodium ascorbate is not acid, very pure, and 1,000 times more soluble than vitamin C. Sodium ascorbate is more reactive than ascorbic acid in building connective tissue and antibody structures, and more effective in killing some viruses and bacteria. Gums are severed by the teeth by toothpaste, and especially by fluoride in toothpaste, but vitamin C and phosphate knit the gums back to the teeth. This vitamin C needs to be made fresh daily. The already prepared dried ascorbates are not as effective, and they are way too expensive. When evaporated to remove the water, all kinds of polymeric sticking materials result, indicating it reacts with itself. Therefore, the vitamin C needs to be made fresh every day. One note here, taking ascorbic acid with baking soda is the most pleasant and economical way to take vitamin C. If you have tried taking vitamin C powder in the past, you know how sour it can taste and how expensive it is. But taking it according to Dr. Judd's instructions makes it taste very similar to mineral water, and you can't beat the price of ascorbic acid and baking soda. And one more thing about vitamin C. If you think drinking plenty of orange juice will cut it, it won't. I tried juicing fruits like crazy and my gums still bled. Once I got back on the vitamin C as listed above, they did not bleed. I would love to tell you that eating a couple of oranges every day will take care of your vitamin C needs, but my personal experience shows that is not the case. An important note is a very small percentage of people are allergic to ascorbic acid. Dr. Judd says they must start out and perhaps continue in small doses. Also, if you are headed for surgery, Dr. Spreen of HSI says, high levels of vitamin C can complicate the anesthesia process. The specifics of vitamin C apply to the megavitamin takers. Very high doses of vitamin C over time cause the body to awaken dormant enzyme systems that more fully utilize high doses of the nutrient. If you take low doses, the body shuts these pathways down for your benefit. If it didn't, it would too rapidly empty the body's C pipeline and you'd be constantly deficient. How you taper off, according to Dr. Spreen, he says that I tell them to taper off the C over time, reaching nearly zero just before surgery, not weeks before. This is because such high doses are good enough detoxifiers that more drugs may be necessary for the anesthesiologist to keep you under. But the absolute instant you tolerate oral intake, you jack the C back up to heroic levels. Surgery is one of the biggest stresses the body can endure. Supplement 4. Take the RDA, the recommended daily allowance of all vitamins and minerals. Again, the best vitamin mineral supplements will be from whole food sources. There are complete whole food source nutrition supplements that contain all you need, so do look for them. Taking the RDA daily assures us that we will have the 𝚕𝚎𝚎 diphosphatase for tooth repair. Re-enamelization of the teeth requires 𝚕𝚎𝚎 diphosphatase for tooth repair, as well as supplemental calcium and phosphate in the diet. Note, the RDA might not be around much longer. The FDA is currently reviewing, and this was 19 years ago. The FDA was currently reviewing changes proposed by the National Academy of Sciences, and the current RDA may be replaced by a DRI, dietary reference intake, so adjust accordingly if and when this happens. So summing up step 2, treating your teeth like muscles means building and repairing your teeth and gums every day by providing your body with enough calcium, monosodium phosphate, vitamin C, and a good multivitamin mineral supplement derived from natural sources. You are now ready for step 3.